Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace is a 1999 American epic space opera. The plot follows Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi as they try to protect Queen Padme of Naboo in hopes of securing a peaceful end to an interplanetary trade dispute. I was pleasantly surprised to see this playing at my local theater, and by local I mean about 100 miles away from my house. And not gonna lie to you, besides Star Wars The Clone Wars and Lego Star Wars The Yoda Chronicles, I'm not that interested in Star Wars. You know, I've seen clips of pretty much every film on TV at one point, but the general, mainline Star Wars stuff just never really interested me outside of some of the animated stuff. So I never really, found a need to really seek out any of the films. But once I saw this playing at my local theater for May the 4th, and since that is very special, meaning that it would only be there for that one weekend, I had to jump at it. And I actually took a picture of the theater that I was in because I was literally the only person there. The film showed about 4 times throughout the day. So of course, I don't know if in the first or third or fourth screenings there were more people. I absolutely doubt it, but there's actually a chance that I was the only person in my whole country to watch Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace on that May the 4th weekend. That was a pretty interesting and very enjoyable experience because I got to get the best seated in the house, of course, middle of the floor, and enjoy this absolute masterpiece. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's start with the positives. Positive number 1, although not everyone gave a good performance, I still enjoyed them all. They all had a cheesy but sincere and endearing charm to them. The actors in this film that I know are, just from experience, are great actors like Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, who've all given masterful and very enjoyable performances time and time again throughout their career. In this film, they felt weirdly held back. It's that feeling that I kind of always get from the best, I don't want to say kids, but yeah, kind of like more kid-friendly sci-fi superhero kind of films. It's that weird kind of acting where it's they can go all out, they can pull out all the emotions out of their bag, but they're just kind of playing it kind of straight, and it's just this really weird feeling. It's it kind of drew me in. There was this sincere, charming vibe that I got from pretty much everyone in this entire film. It's this really weird, charming aesthetic that they brought to it that really kind of lit things up for me. Natalie Portman in this film, you could stretch to say that her acting was bad, I guess, or at least stiff, right? But the way how she played it straight as Queen Padme, as this young queen, of her entire world, she did a damn good job. I actually believed in her performance. It was that good. And it was the weird, again, just like everyone else, it was the weirdest feeling ever because it's kind of stiff and kind of not all the way there with the writing and the emotions, but it's this really weird charm to it, bro, that I just can't describe. I just I feel it every once in a while when I watch a film like this. And this is the first time that I felt this way in years, I think, which is why it kind of hit me for a little, because it's not the best, but it's just as good as the best, because it's got this really weird charm to it. I'm done with this point. Oh, and just a quick thing. Keira Knightley who played I think it's pronounced Sabe or Sabe in this film. They legit fooled me sometimes, because it's sometimes it would be Keira Knightley on screen and I'm like, wait, why does Natalie Portman look so weird? And then it switches back and it's Natalie Portman and it's yeah, she looks fine. But then it switches back and it's they legit really looked a lot alike as kids. That was legit fooling me throughout most of the film. I guess the best way to describe the performances in this film, I would have to say, would be would be sincere. They felt really sincere, they felt really meaningful. So I was deeply engrossed and really, really enjoyed them. Spent way too long on that point, by the way. Positive number 2, the fight choreography, action set pieces, and scenes were all very well done and exciting. I did not expect to like the action scenes, given the age of the film and given how it's a kid-friendly film, so there wouldn't be any blood or anything like that. The fight between like the clone warriors, just the evil robot people and the Gungan, that was a really great fight. As bad as the CGI is, as bad as it looked even back then, I'm pretty sure it looked bad back then, I still enjoyed it. It was still really, really charming in a sense, so yeah, I really, really liked the action scenes. The action scenes were really, really great. And of course, you can't talk about the Phantom Menace and action scenes without mentioning, of course, the Darth Maul fight, man, between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the GOAT himself, Darth Maul. Oh my goodness. I have heard legends about this fight. I've heard so many people say that this is like one of the best fight scenes of all time. And while I, of course, took their, well, not of course, but I just kind of took their word for it and thought of it as a good fight. But actually seeing this thing in an empty theater by yourself, it's like, oh my gosh, it was an amazing fight scene. So much tension with like the lasers and stuff, because it's like if Obi-Wan was just like a second faster, he could have saved Qui-Gon. But things happened like they happened. The double-bladed lightsaber looked amazing. The practical effects and just the choreography, the level of choreography for this film was surprising and amazing. Like it was such a tense fight. It was such a damn good looking fight. Darth Maul was such a badass throughout the entire film. His like makeup and stuff looked so cool and everything, and it was just like everything came together amazingly in that scene. It is literally one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Definitely one of the best sci-fi like fight scenes, that's just fight scenes in general that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was nothing short of absolutely amazing. Positive number 3, the practical effects were great. All right, while the CGI was bad back then and it's still bad right now, everything as far as practical effects, like the robots that were practical, the puppets that they used, like the buildings and stuff like that, the sets and stuff like that, everything that was practical, and of course the ships that were practical at times, everything that was practical looked great in my opinion. So yeah, everything looked really great on a practical side. Now, as far as negatives go, I'm gonna be honest and frank with you from the very start here. Everything that I'm about to say does not matter. Okay, okay. I have little to no negatives for this film. The CGI was not good. Okay, it all looked pretty dated. It all looked like PlayStation 2 era graphics throughout the entire film. And yeah, it just didn't look good. But just like everything else in this film, it had a charm to it, bro. Everything has a charm to it in this film. The acting isn't the best, the writing isn't the best, the CGI isn't the best, but they have this sincere quality to them that I just can't put my finger on it. I just can't do justice in describing it. But it just worked, bro. It just worked. Like Jake Lloyd, acting wasn't the best, but it just worked. Ahmad Best as Jar Jar Binks. I know people, I have heard this my entire life, okay? This movie came out in 99. I was born, and I heard that people hated Jar Jar Binks, all right? People, I've heard it every single year of my entire life, all right? Like, he's so annoying, he's clumsy, he just got in the way, he's this huge, annoying, like, everyone wants to kill Jar Jar Binks kind of thing, kind of going on, right? I've heard this for years, and actually seeing it for myself, I was pleasantly surprised, because honestly, I did not mind him. Did he get on my nerves? I mean, honestly, not really, because again, like everything else, even though it's not perfect, even though it's not as good as it should be, in order for it to like actually be like great, it worked because it had this sincere quality to it. It had this really weird, charming, charismatic, sincere, meaningful quality to it. It's like everything that everyone says in this film isn't great and isn't good, isn't of the best quality, but it sounds like they mean it. It sounds like they were actually into their characters. It sounds like they actually cared with everything that was going on. Everything from the CGI to the acting to the special effects, as bad or as good as they were. It felt like they cared. It felt like, yeah, sure, this is all kind of ridiculous. It's it's science fiction. It's fantasy, but it's just like, it felt so sincere. It felt so meaningful. It felt so real. It felt like it just felt like they cared, and I absolutely love that. It bled through to me, and it gave me this really warm, really cozy feeling inside. It's like I just love this, and yeah, that's believe it or not, those are my only two negatives. Well, did I even have a second? You know what? I have no negatives. I'm sorry. Like, forget everything that I just said. I have no negatives about this film, alright? Yes, the CGI sucks, but I love it, alright? I love the CGI in this film, as bad as it is, because it just like I just said, it just had this really weird, charming, endearing quality to it that I just cannot put my finger on it. I don't understand it, but I feel it. I felt it throughout the entire film. I felt it with every single character. I felt it with every single voice actor, with the pod race, with the war scenes, with the lightsaber scenes. Everything felt cheesy. Everything felt not up to par, but everything was great. Everything was amazing. The sincerity of it really pushed everything that wasn't that good to being that good. So I'm just gonna talk myself into circles with this one. I can just feel it. But overall, The Phantom Menace is a really great film in my opinion. I haven't heard the best things about the sequel trilogy. I've never seen the first trilogy. Am I gonna watch it now? I mean, if they play it on May the 4th, I'm gonna watch it. If I see it out in the wild, I might buy it on DVD or something, but I'm not really seeking it out like that. But as for having seen episode 1 of The Phantom Menace, I absolutely loved it. It is one of the best sci-fi films I've seen in my entire life. The title of epic space opera is the best way to describe this film. It is such an epic feeling film. All of the war scenes, all of the acting scenes, all of the fight scenes felt so sincere and felt so great. Even though they weren't actually that good, it felt great because there was so much meaning behind it all. There was so much passion behind it all. Like, I guess that's the thing that I was searching for. It's that passion. Like, George Lucas, shouts out to him. I know he's not in people's best graces right now, but George Lucas absolutely knocked it out the park with this one. I absolutely loved this film. It is such an amazing film, alright? Shouts out to all the actors. Liam Neeson put his all into this film. Ewan McGregor was great. Natalie Portman was great. Jake Lloyd, even Ahmad Best as Jar Binks, man, he made me smile. Did not make me laugh. Yes, he's annoying. Yes, he's clumsy. Yes, he's this big, huge oaf. This one big, not so funny joke, but it worked for me, man. The CGI sucks, but shouts out to the CGI, the guys who did the CGI, because I still loved it, man. I'm sorry. I love it. I love everything about this film. The Darth Maul fight was epic. I absolutely loved it. I loved every fight scene. I loved I love every scene of this film. It is one of the best films I have ever seen, period. Alright? Maybe it's because I was the only person there. Maybe it's because it was the May the 4th weekend, so it felt really special. I love this film. I really, really love this film. There's a certain vibe, a certain energy to it that I just have not seen in many places. I have only seen it in the best, and I felt it here, so this is one of the best. I absolutely love this film, and if you ever get a chance to see it, please take it and judge it for yourself. Don't just take it on my word, because a lot of people don't like it. 10 out of 10? No, it is not a 10 out of 10, but it is a 10 out of 10, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I have nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. This is Fraser Talks, and see you all next time. Goodbye.